There's no easy way to say it. The crypto market has been absolutely devastated with the news of FTX and Alameda declaring bankruptcy, going Chapter 11 there. Obviously, guys, this has been a devastating blow to the crypto space, but I want to go over a few reasons why I don't think that hope is necessarily lost here. Starting off with something very important is this downward sloping trend line all the way back from our all-time highs. You guys know I've been pointing it out on this channel for, well, months at this point, and pretty much everybody out there has been checking out this resistance line here. Just look at this beautiful retest we're getting. So even though something that you guys will be very familiar with if you've been tuned into my channel here, you'll know I was very bullish on this daily support box outlined in green here. It does, well, there's no easy way to say it. It sucks that we dropped that level. However, something worth considering here is that we have actually got a beautiful retest of this downward sloping resistance line, which would make for an absolutely beautiful resistance to support flip, which is exactly what we like to see. And it's not all too uncommon to see that sort of price action on these downward sloping trend lines. It hurts just seeing that this is such a big time frame. Obviously a weekly time frame, that move to the downside and getting that retest feels just very painful. There's no other way around it, you guys. This has been quite a nasty sell-off here. However, you have to look at the light at the end of the tunnel here. Although, yes, I was outlining that if we broke this support box, my strategy as far as trading would change, and it actually has. I've taken some of my first shorts in a very long time in this little range here. Yeah, some of my better trades recently have been to the short side, which I have not done in this whole area. I was very vocal about the fact that I was not interested in shorting into support with all those bullish divergences I've been outlining on this channel. And although I do feel a little bit late to the party when I start shorting at these levels, it was just a confirmation that I was looking for, and I am willing to play the short side. Honestly, right now, I don't really have a strong bias one way or the other. I'm a lot less bullish than I was when we were trading at these levels, obviously. However, I still am not in a state of panic. I'm really not worried about this price action. I was talking to you guys about the fact that, you know, being able to predict is one thing, but being able to react is much more important in this market. And having a backup plan is absolutely crucial in this volatile market. So that's basically what I had outlined before, is that my plan was if we ended up dropping this level, then I would start looking for some kind of retraces, and then looking for zooming into shorter time frames, finding double tops, bearish divergences to short, and that kind of stuff, which I absolutely have done. But right now, just going over this, you guys, after getting this retest of this downward sloping trend line, getting that resistance to support flip here, things don't actually look too bad, especially the fact that we're trying to find a little bit of a double bottom here. This is the daily time frame. It is looking weak, I'll give it that. It's nothing to celebrate over or anything like this. But it is nice to see that even though we dropped such an important support level, we never just absolutely dumped off a cliff. The bulls are still really clinging on to life, just barely, but they are. Looking at the weekly chart, yes, it is, there's no easy way to say it, you guys. The fact that we closed a weekly candle below this support box, that is not good in my opinion. But again, we're just going to have to see what happens. If I go to my other chart here, I have outlined on the weekly, I just have a little bit bigger of a support box here. Going back to our resistance of our previous cycle, all-time high back here, as well as where the trend was actually able to pause for approximately a month, because again, this is a weekly time frame. We have about 4 weeks trading in this level here, and I've just dropped the bottom of my support box to the bottom of this little brief consolidation on our parabola to the upside there last bull market. So that level is still technically holding. I am looking at this as, you know, I'm not saying anything for sure. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Always do your own research, form your own opinion. But I'm at least willing to consider the fact that this may be some kind of a fake out to the downside. We're gonna have to see what happens. Honestly, like I said, I am really not leaning one way or the other right now. It is kind of a coin flip to me, but I am just looking for potential reasons to be bullish, and I think this box does have some validation to it. We're gonna have to see what happens. But yeah, I'm just going to start zooming in from here. Again, going to the daily. Things don't look all too bad here. Bring up some indicators. On the daily time frame, we have the MDX oscillator 4 indicator is showing, for one, we did have this potential pivot point right as we ended up retesting that resistance as support level there. And now this indicator is also showing a hidden bullish divergence here. So not all hope is lost. There is a couple early warning signs that, you know, maybe the bulls aren't quite dead yet. They are showing signs of life here. The RSI, we do have this little bit of a bullish divergence as well. It's not looking super strong, obviously not getting a very violent reaction off of these levels that it pulled back to. But that being said, we are just kind of trading sideways, and the RSI has climbed a little bit, so there is a little bit of a divergence there. Hopping over to the weekly chart again, I want to bring up the MDX Algo 3 here. Something interesting, I know I've pointed out these potential indicator bottom bullish divergences in the past, and again, this is the weekly time frame. And I mentioned that the last time we got this signal we never even got this at the end of our previous bear market. We haven't seen these signals come up for several market cycles. So it's something that I really want to bring to your attention. Last time we got one of these was back here when Bitcoin was trading kind of between 200 US dollars and 150, 160 US dollars. So this signal does not come up very often on these charts. Again, this is a weekly, nothing to scoff at here. I was outlining the point that, you know, there's the possibility that we end up getting a further correction to the downside or a further sell-off after we got our initial indication there. Just like we did back here. Obviously this is back in 2014, but we did have this potential bottom signal come in. We sold off one more time, got that double signal, and that's when the market really started to recover. Obviously took a very long time. I mean, this goes from January till October, so damn near a year of kind of trading sideways in a choppy manner here before Bitcoin was able to kind of actually get a long signal, and obviously when that happened it was off to the races. So I just want to look at things now. Actually, also on top of that, just bringing up other indicators here. The MDX Oscillator 5 matched up with these signals here. It had these same reversal signals, bullish divergences here to go along with it. And we're seeing something very similar right now. You can see that we had that first signal, which I said this is something I didn't want to take too lightly, but there was obviously the possibility that we sell off further and get a double one, and that's exactly what we have so far playing out. And we have the same thing on the Oscillator 5 here. We have our double signal here. The only thing that I want to mention about this as well, guys, is that there is a lot of time between now and the weekly close. We have 5 days until this weekly candle closes. So this signal, as well as this signal down here, still has a lot of time for that to cancel out. But it is nice to see that we're starting to see these green signals on such a large time frame here. And these indicators have been performing quite well. I mean, we go to the Algo 3 indicator here, MDX Algo 3. I mean, look at this this trend line that this indicator had formed ever since this beautiful short signal on the weekly here. That line has been acting as some very significant resistance, and this is something I should have paid more attention to, honestly, when we were pumping to the upside. Look how well that resistance came into play from this indicator and getting a very harsh rejection. Now, this indicator had no idea that FTX was going to go belly up or its sister company was going to end up in a whole bunch of trouble, anything like that. This is just basic price action here. Calling for this rejection here, and obviously the fundamentals didn't help things any, so something to consider there. But yeah, I'm liking the fact that so far we do have this double bottom signal here on the Algo 3 and Oscillator 5. Oscillator 4 on the weekly time frame, we did have this hidden bearish divergence, but I mean, that already played out. That was another thing lining up with this resistance here that did end up calling the top beautifully. Unfortunately, I didn't give that all too much weight. I was a little bit blinded by my bullish sentiment, but that's okay because like I said, you guys, the important thing is being able to react. And I'm really not too concerned about where this market lies right now. Something to consider, you guys, is I was always hearing for the last several months that the market hasn't experienced maximum pain. We need to see that max pain before the market is able to recover. And now that we get this devastating fundamental news and this breakdown in the charts, people obviously in a lot of pain across the market. And now people are saying the market's in too much pain and it can't recover. Just really something to consider there, you guys. You're always told, buy when people are fearful and sell when people are greedy. I mean, to say that people are fearful right now is an understatement. I mean, you have everybody panic withdrawing all their funds off crypto exchanges in light of what happened with FTX there, liquidity crisis across many different exchanges. A lot are being hit very hard by that. But you see on social media that there is just tons of people. Everybody is withdrawing all of their crypto off the exchanges. And although, yes, it looks like extreme panic in the market, well, there's no other way to say it. There is extreme panic in the market. But what I'm seeing out of this is I'm just trying to picture something bullish that could happen out of a super bearish situation. Let's just go back to when Mt. Gox happened. I don't remember exactly when that was. I think that sparked a bear market a couple of cycles ago already at this point, and nothing has been resolved from that yet. People still don't have their funds that were frozen. These types of things take a very long time to play out. And it's not like everybody who had funds on FTX, even if they are going to get that back somehow, someday, it is going to be a very slow, drawn out process. Nothing's going to happen quickly. So all that I'm seeing this is just fishing for bullish situation out of a super bearish, shitty, unfortunate situation, is that anybody who had funds on FTX, they are, for one, unable to withdraw their funds and panic sell everything in this situation. As well, we have everybody just withdrawing all of their crypto off any exchanges, meaning that they have no intentions of selling and can't sell without actually bringing it back onto exchanges. What I'm seeing is just kind of a math equation that's saying that this might actually end up somehow being a bit of a bullish situation because we're going to end up with a little bit of a supply shock. I mean, just like what the halving does to Bitcoin. Eventually, you just have less supply because it's harder to mine, and then eventually the buying pressure outweighs the selling pressure. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now, is if people are unable to withdraw their funds in a panic and panic sell, as well as taking their crypto off exchanges, I mean, that's really just soaking up a bunch of the supply and removing the supply from the markets. So I think it's only a matter of time until, we do actually end up finding a bottom here. And I mean, the bottom could be a ways away yet, you guys. I wouldn't be too surprised if we actually just end up trading down and retesting this line again. It's interesting that we never did just capitulate right through it and then flip that line back into resistance. We are still holding it as support. So yes, I see the reason that we could bounce down along it and actually go quite a bit lower. As I mentioned, I totally see reasons why we could drop to 14K, 10K, anything like that. Nothing's off the table at this point. But I just am seeing several reasons why I think that everything going on in the market right now could end up just really soaking up a bunch of that supply. And eventually all that's left is strong hands and people not willing to sell. And eventually that supply will be eaten up and people will start accumulating again. And eventually people will forget about this FUD. I mean, thinking back to Luna and Voyager and Celsius and all that, This is all devastating stuff, you guys, but we don't really hear about those things that just happened several months ago. People eventually forget, get over things, and FTX will be no different. Yes, it was devastating to the health of the markets, and it sucks to see such a large exchange being hit with such a situation, and that just goes to show that absolutely anything can happen in this market. It is the Wild West of markets. So obviously, just be careful, you guys. But yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of reasons why I think this may actually be one of those times when, there's super bearish news in just across the market as a whole, but the price isn't really reflecting just how devastated the market was and just how much panic there is across social media and that sort of stuff. In my opinion, I mean, we should have seen the price crash to 10K already at this point, and the bulls are still just hanging on for dear life. So it's going to be interesting to watch the next few weeks play out. I do absolutely see reasons that dominoes start falling. There's probably many other exchanges out there that are having liquidity issues, and this FTX situation is just kind of bringing a lot of things to light, and that may take some time to play out. But just hang in there, guys. I just don't know how much more of a beating this market can take. I mean, we're already down about 80% from our all-time high, maybe not quite, but yeah. As I said, I mean, when the markets are fearful, that's when you're supposed to be buying. There's blood in the streets. Those things are all true right now. So yeah, I just think it's only a matter of time until the bottom is in. As I mentioned, I think it could take a long time until we actually end up getting some, a nice bull market forming. As mentioned back here, after we got this double signal, I mean, it took, I don't know, 9 or 10 months until we actually started gaining any sort of confidence in the market, any kind of momentum from the bulls and carrying up from there. And the same thing might happen. It may take a long time, but I really don't think we're all too far away from a bottom at this point. Anyways, guys, that's about all I wanted to rant about today. A little bit different than my typical analysis, a little more into the fundamental side of things, which you guys know I generally don't give a shit about typically. But this is just a very extraordinary situation in the markets, and things are a little wild right now. So I wanted to bring those few things to your radar. As far as my Bitcoin cheat sheet, obviously I was wrong and the bottom was not quite in, but things still don't look too bad on this chart. As I mentioned, yeah, it sucks that the weekly candle closed below these lows back here, our June lows, but we still have those early warning signs in the RSI. Just getting this resist support flip potentially. I'm hoping this box is able to hold on for the bulls there. But yeah, as I mentioned, we also have these downward sloping trend lines in the RSI that have broke and that kind of thing. So all in all, I think it's only a matter of time until we start getting sunnier outlook in the crypto community. But I think it will take some time to recover fundamentally and just on a confidence level from retail traders and that kind of thing. So we're gonna have to see what happens, guys. Anyways, if you guys did appreciate this content, please do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.